SP Intranet Package Overview, a part of SP Digital Workplace Solutions from SP Marketplace. We're all about making it easy to do business in your organization. Going from documents and news and everything all over the place to a nice structure built on top of Office 365 and SharePoint that becomes your digital workplace. In this video, this is an overview of the SP Intranet package that is the core of our SP Digital Workplace Solutions. We'll be giving you an overview, and then you can actually go and see the different solutions that we have in demonstrations on our product videos page. So if we step back and look at many traditional organizations, often they were organically created by each function, bringing in sales, bringing in IT, HR, and those type of things. And eventually a lot of these functions become siloed, and they're all adding their own capabilities, their own policies and procedures and processes and how they actually provide service to the employees and so on. Unfortunately, a lot of times they do that separately, and it becomes really a siloed function within an organization, such that an employee looking across all these different functions, it can be very frustrating trying to get what they need to do their job. And if we take a look at what employees need to do their job from their perspective, it's many different things. It's being able to get information and news. It's the ability to get documents and procedures and forms, as well as even just getting services from different departments like IT, HR, facilities, or whatever it might be. Getting at different processes and also collaboration. Now, if these are some of the things that they need to do their job, unfortunately, the reality is often it looks like this to them, and it's all over the place. And this really has to do with this whole siloed function issue, is that there's no internal business structure or common way to do things that has been defined in the organization. And that can be very frustrating for employees. It can waste time, and it really drags down productivity, not just in those departments, but employees as well. So our whole concept is that you can leverage Office 365 and SharePoint to step back and do things in a different way, to leverage that platform to create what we call a digital workplace so that employees, wherever they are, on any device at any time, can go through a common user interface and a common intuitive set of portals to get to the different things that they need. And we do that with SP Digital Workplace Suite. So instead of you having to build from scratch, because really Office 365 and SharePoint is a platform, it's not an out-of-the-box solution. And we're taking what we've learned after more than 1,000 implementations of our products in customers all over the world and putting that to work for you so that you can take advantage and optimize your use of Office 365 and SharePoint to deliver a digital workplace for your organization. And we find that makes employees very happy, much more productive, and the whole organization is much more organized and consistent in the way that they do things. This is the ultimate use of Office 365 and SharePoint. So if we take a look at what happens often with siloed departments is each of them has their own applications and their own places they put documents and so on. And what we're really talking about here is using Office 365 and SharePoint to define a common communication and internal services structure, something that's typically never done before in organizations, and actually delivering that through a digital workplace on Office 365. So let's just step back and take a look at a little more detail, and this is what we've done with our products. We said, with an intranet, it really is all about employee self-service, information, and so on. What does that really mean? Well, when we take a look at it, we break it up into what we call 4 pillars. And those are The first thing that employees need to get is information, news, events, announcements from the organization that is relative to them, as well as being able to contact other people in the organization through an employee directory, for instance. That's useful. Um, and this is a much better way if we can do this through a portal structure than email. And typically, email is what's used to deliver a lot of this. They also need to be able to get at resources. And a lot of times those resources are documents, but it could also be videos and media and so on. But those tend to be policies, procedures, and not just HR policies and procedures, but could be from IT, could be from finance, and so on, that really guides what the how the organization operates and what the boundaries are in that. And so we need to make that easy to find and that they can get the latest ones very easily as well. Even information like frequently asked questions and knowledge bases are part of those resources that they may need to get at. And then another area, this is an area that's forgotten quite a bit, is services. How do they get services from IT, HR, facilities, or any of the different departments? Often each department has a different way of getting services. I mean, IT a lot of times has a help desk, but other departments you have to call them or playing telephone tag or email, and you wonder if they got the request. Waste a lot of time on both sides of that service structure. And then finally, there's a lot of processes that employees have to access that are common to all employees throughout their week and their month. And things like time off and HR data or expense reports or purchases or travel requests or those type of things. How do they get to those easily? A lot of times those are in many different systems out there. So this is really what we're talking about when we're looking at an intranet structure and what it can do for your organization. Now, what we found is that there is a best practice structure that has worked very well. And this is where you have the intranet at the top level. This is your place for news and information and so on, kind of your homepage entry point into the overall structure. This second level is what we call Employee Central or Employee Self-Service. This actually is a roll-up across departments of things that employees need to get to. So things like they need to get to policies and procedures or documents or do a search for documents. They may need to get help through a service request or help desk type thing from different departments. They also need to get at different processes. And you don't want them to have to go down into every department and figure out where to get these things. Why not bring them into more of a consolidated view for the employee? It's going to save them a lot of time. So if we take a look at this overall structure here, we call this an operational portal structure. And we take those 4 pillars and we've actually designed this and then went back and kind of made sure everything was covered from those 4 pillars. So that first pillar, information, really is up at the intranet. This is where they get the news and information, the things that they need, as well as navigation to where they need to go and get other things or navigate to where their group is or their department that they're going to be functioning in. Second area here is resources. This is where we bring together employee-facing resources. And it doesn't mean they all reside here. We are bringing together policies and procedures and forms, but also it's a search that they can search in different departments and functions to get what they need from one place. Help Central is a common service request system that you can put in, and it actually allows employees from one place to be able to ask for services from the different departments down here. And you can still use any existing help desk systems that you have. You just may access them from here. But you'll find with our department portals, which is part of this Intranet package, there actually is a service request system built into our department portal template. And then finally, processes and Process Central. And what we've done in this is we've actually built out processes in SharePoint. Things like time off, timesheets, expenses, purchase requests, travel requests, and all the approvals are built in and everything else. But you can also link out to your existing systems that may do those things and add those things and icons here. So again, central point to come for all the processes. So this kind of top level structure meets most of the employees' needs that they have. But we also add to this, instead of doing team sites and just peer-to-peer sites, if you take a look at most departments out there, they are providing services. And so we've designed a special department portal called SP Department that is specifically designed for those service departments. And they actually have two sides to them. They have an employee portal. This is where employees can come in and get services as well. And think of it like a bank branch of going in and get services. We're just actually putting in place a best practice structure that's used in retailing, banking, that says make it easy for your customers to get services, get resources, and make it consistent and intuitive where you put those services and resources. So when they walk in the door, they don't have to think about that. They know right where to go to do that banking transaction or order fast food, whatever it might be. We're doing the same thing here with departments. And however, we also know that departments have an organization side of it where the staff has to organize and collaborate and share calendars and documents and create policies and other things. And so these department portals we've actually designed such that if you're an employee, you can come over here and get consume resources. There's a resources library. They can actually make service requests down here. There's a knowledge base. So it's all built for self-service as much as possible. But this side is really where that staff can do things. They can manage documents and so on. And this is secure from this group over here. So we've made it so that that functional staff can organize things, can even link out to different process applications, but they can also service their customers coming into the portal. And it's all very much the same and consistent, such that it's very easy for employees and intuitive for them to get what they need to do their job. So the Intranet package actually consists of the Intranet Home, what we call ESS, Employee Self-Service, and department portals as well. And what this means is, again, a consistent experience across the entire portal structure, making it easy to do business. So let's drill down one level deeper for how the Intranet package kind of works together. So the other nice thing is it is built to be integrated. It creates what we call an active portal structure. So you may have the intranet here that has news, announcements, events. It also has discussions, blogs, an employee directory, and even personalized links and personalized navigation. So, it's something that is built for that employee to come into and have it be useful from an information standpoint, as well as easy to navigate to what they need to get to on a personalized basis. So the key thing here that we found with the Intranet Home, though, and all the news and information is sometimes that news gets stale. Well, part of it's because you got a content manager up here that has to run around and look for news all the time. We've taken a different approach. We've said, you know what, actually news comes from a lot of the operation. It could come from sales. It could come from marketing in some type of event. It could come on an announcement, let's say from IT, that a system's going to be down for maintenance this weekend, or from HR, where they've hired somebody new and they want to announce it to the organization. So we've made it so that these departments, because they do have some of that content for each of their department portals for their customers, can actually take and select news items, announcements, or events that are relevant to the whole organization, and it gets pushed up here, and the content manager is alerted. The content manager can approve these things, can schedule them, can even target who should see them. So this is active content in our portal structure. The secondary here is this whole middle structure. This actually interacts with the departments as well. And so, for instance, if HR creates a new policy in the department, each department has a policy library, they can publish it here, and the latest policy will be shown up here automatically. If there is help requested from an employee through the service request in Help Central, it could be routed to the correct department, and they can actually track where it's at and track all the activities of the service request as well. And then finally, you can actually create forms and those type of things. There is a predefined approval processes that are set up here with managers and maybe my managers. And any forms that are filled out can be routed to the appropriate departments for processing too. So it all is integrated and well thought out and works together. That's what really the whole Intranet package is all about. So the Intranet package is really made up of our Intranet SP Intranet product, our SP ESS, and you get 3 department portals with it, and you can purchase more, so that you can now set up your kind of digital workplace portal structure. Now, beyond the Intranet package, we actually have additional things that you can get as well. And these are applications. And you can have a full HRIS application with onboarding and policy management, work orders, asset tracking, campaign management, a full sales CRM or project management, and build this into your structure. In fact, these can actually be inserted or embedded in these departments to turn the departments into an IT department, HR department, or if you've already got your own HR system, you can have this wrap and link out to that HR system. So the whole concept here is not to just have a bunch of kind of generic portals. It's actually to use the platform to really drive business processes as well. Now, how are these built? Well, we built them on top of Office 365 and SharePoint. And we built them just like you would build them. We use list libraries. Each one of these is actually a SharePoint site. And you can construct it in like Lego blocks here and create any kind of portal structure that you want. It's all native, and it's 100% customizable by Power Business users. We've also added a tool set, so not only do you get out-of-the-box solutions here that are customizable, almost like full-on templates, but we also give you a tool set that is really oriented towards business power users, so that you can do rule-based forms. You can actually go in and create your own escalations and notifications and actions, and even bring in data from email, from web forms, or from outside databases. So think of it as getting a full-on set of solutions that may get you anywhere from 70% of your requirements all the way up to 100% of your requirements out of the box, plus a tool set such that you can change things however that you want. That's what it's all about. And the SP Intranet package is really the phase 1 start we see most organizations going through. Now, the nice thing too is it's all integrated with Office 365. So if we take a look at our departments, HR, for instance, here, if this is one of our departments, it could actually link in with the HR group in Office 365 or the HR OneDrive as well. IT could link with IT teams in Office 365. And in fact, all throughout the portals, we leverage Office 365 services as well. So for instance, a lot of the departments, we have already predefined Power BI dashboards out there as well too. So it really is not just a SharePoint solution, it's an Office 365 solution that integrates Office 365 and SharePoint. So as kind of a review here, our unique approach, it is all native, no code, built just as you would build it. We want you to be able to actually own it and drive forward with it. We have services, of course, that can help you and your team, but it's something that we want you to be able to take and grow with your company. It's a full solution. We have full built-in permission groups and governance and security and approval processes on content, for instance, all built out in it. And we've got all the pages and doc management built into it as well. The key thing, too, is we've built it in such a way that it buffers users from the SharePoint complexities with a role-based approach. And it's out of the box ready and fully supported going forward. So wherever Microsoft takes SharePoint and Office 365, it is fully supported as long as you're still on your subscription. We've already talked a little bit about the best practice design. We've stepped back and thought through this. We saw a lot of people that were stumbling around with intranets and what to do and where to put departments and where to put documents. This provides you with an overall structure that makes things like document organization and how to handle news processes and other things are all well defined because you have a consistent structure for doing business across your organization. And the nice thing too is we leverage Office 365 features across the whole thing. If somebody puts in a service request in the departments, and each of the departments has a service request built into it, you actually can hover over the requester and talk to them through Skype for Business, share screens, whatever you might need. And so we leverage some of the cool features in Office 365, even things like Power Apps and MS Flow and connectors, to take your digital workplace and be able to leverage and go beyond, just a simple intranet portal. It allows you to grow over time. So let's talk a little bit about, what does this mean for you? Well, what it allows you to do over time, and this is your vision. It doesn't mean you're going to do it tomorrow, but what you're putting in place is a portal structure for your organization. And it allows you to actually go in and take these different types of portals and apply them in your organization, such that each of the groups and each of the parts of the organization have a structure to work within, and it's consistent. And the nice thing is you can start with, the base Intranet package with just Intranet and Employee Central and maybe 3 departments, and then add on and move to this, say, over 2 years. But it gives you an overall structure, and it really starts to define how you can use SharePoint and use Office 365 to its optimum use. And you can even, in this structure, bring in things like teams and groups and have that interact and integrate with the SP intranet structure that we have here. And as I said before, you can even apply applications. So if you are in need of, let's say, a facilities, more automation in your facilities group, or you have a very expensive application that, doesn't really do the job for you there, you can actually deploy right within this structure using Office 365, not having to buy any servers or anything extra, business process applications as well at your option. And the nice thing about it too is it can support any type of structure, and it really provides for employees all the different areas here, as well as supporting Office 365. It actually drives adoption of Office 365 because now, instead of just a bunch of icons on a drop-down, it's actually used from within a structure. And we see that Office 365 likelihood of success is much greater with this type of solution. So work towards putting this in your overall organization. It will drive much more productive and happy employees, and it adds the structure that you need to move to the cloud and have it be something that the organization can grow with, rather than just saying, here's a group, here's a team, here's a team site, and letting anarchy drive it. Because that will only result in the same chaos that you may have today in the current siloed departments. So, assuming you're looking at this from our product videos page, now what I would suggest is go take a look at the Intranet demo, as well as the department demos and employee self-service demonstrations. I think you'll be impressed. And if you really want to have something that's really effective, is come to our site, request an online demo, and bring your team together, and we can give you a live demo. And what you'll see is you'll end up with a well-defined strategy for your organization, for communications, document organization, internal service delivery, how you're going to organize your groups and teams, and even internal business process access. It becomes very well defined in where these things go in this structure, and it drives productivity and collaboration across the whole organization. So with this, I'll leave you to go take a look at our demonstration videos.